Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode on the My Greek Expat Journey channel. Today, we have a very special guest, Carlys Gianakas, a seasoned real estate expert that My Greek Expat Journey partners with, and she specializes in helping expats find their dream homes here in Greece. So whether you're considering buying a home or just curious about the Greek real estate market, this interview is packed with insider tips and expert advice. So we'll be talking about everything from the step-by-step process of buying property in Greece as a foreigner to the best areas for expats to live and even some common pitfalls to avoid. So if you're thinking about finally making the move or just want to learn more about Greek real estate, keep watching. Carly, thank you so much for being here today. Let's go ahead and dive in. My first question is, can you tell us a little bit more about your journey, how you got into real estate in Greece, and what led you to working with expats?
I've been in real estate into Canada primarily before. We moved to Greece primarily because of COVID. It kind of gave us the push to move over here. So we decided, okay, we don't want to live in the rain over these lockdowns. So we made the move and went to Greece. It did take a long time for us to get our paperwork in order. So although I always had real estate in the back of my mind, it was the logistical aspects. I wish we had your services back then, I have to tell you. So it made it was a bit of a slow process. Real estate has always been a passion of mine. It stemmed from my grandfather that did developments. My dad was in construction. I mean, I live and breathe real estate. So it was kind of like something that just came naturally to me. When I never thought I would be living in Greece, but I wanted to carry my profession and my passion with me. So after a long process, I finally got my residency here and have since been practicing real estate. I just didn't realize how different the industry was here. And so kind of what I bring is kind of the business model from back home, but into the Greek market here. So I since work with Keller Williams For You based in Nafplion. We have now since opened our second office in Sparta. So that's where I'm coming to you from right now. So I primarily work with expats because I don't want them to fall victim to the same things that we did and the same things that I'm finding other clients having issues with, non-transparency, with misinformation. So my passion is stemmed by helping others. So that's kind of my mission, my values, transparency and honesty above all.
I absolutely love that. And that is so aligned with My Greek Expat Journey's values as well. So we're really happy to be partnering with you. And my second question is, what makes the Greek real estate market unique compared to other countries you've worked in or studied?
So there's no MLS system. So there's no centralized system where you can go look at housing. You don't know what the history of a property is. You don't know what's sold, what's non-active. You don't know any information. So you're kind of going into a market that has no historical values. So my main key is by working with collaborating partners throughout Greece to help me service all of Greece. So with that, I'm able to tell them what's sold, what's the price per square meter based on people actually in those areas. So by using the collaborating partners, I'm able to understand the real values, not the inflated values that are a lot online. So that really helps bridge that gap with having no MLS system. Another thing is that there's very little collaboration amongst agent to agent. In Canada or BC, where I practice, you have a buyer's agent, you have a seller's agent. Dual agency is not allowed in BC. So, you owe your fiduciary duty to one client. In Greece, it doesn't exist. So it's a bit hard to educate other agents that collaboration, the more we work together, the better everybody wins. You can win, everybody can win. So having collaboration partners is something that hasn't been so easy, but I'm getting there. And people are seeing the value of working together in collaborations. Also, the listings online are not always active and they're not always available. Meaning, so a lot of people have problems with, there's 4 owners, but only one person speaking. So are you actually able to buy that property? Nobody knows. So a lot of my job is to do the due diligence to making sure that the right people are on title, that they're able to sell, that their engineering reports are correct. All those things, it's really hard to do as an expat living abroad. So I have a team of two lovely ladies that help me qualify listings for my clients. Also, the language barrier. I don't speak Greek very well, and a lot of expats don't speak Greek very well. And a lot of the agents that I've dealt with also don't speak English very well. So by working with us directly, we can kind of bridge that gap with my supporting partners. Another thing is negotiations. A lot of Greek real estate has to do with the feeling. It's been handled down by the grandparent to another person. So a lot of it is navigating the different cultural differences, I guess you would say. So that's something that we're able to bridge that gap as well. But that's what's different with Canadian real estate or American real estate. There's like that feeling that goes along with it. Another thing is that, I mean, Greece is such a big country, but there's so many untapped areas that are just beautiful. We are based in the Southern Peloponnese, and a lot of people just are not educated on that area. So if you have supporting partners in those areas, I mean, it really opens up my clients and everybody else to the world of opportunities that Greece has to offer.
I'm just curious, moving on to the next question is, if somebody is considering to buy property in Greece, what are the first steps to make that happen? Yeah, walk us through it.
I mean, first step is to talk to Chloe. You know, it all comes down to like, are you able to? If you're doing a vacation property, there's no issues. You know, you have the 90 days that you can use it with no issues. If it's more of a permanent long-term move, definitely seeking Chloe's advice on what are your availabilities? How are you able to move here? What does that process look like? That's huge. I mean, if you want to move full-time, having that information from the get-go is number one. The next thing is just getting your tax number. So you use an accountant or use Chloe that has professionals on her side as well. You can't rent a long-term housing or buy a place without this tax number. So that's going to be important to know as well. And then also you need a Greek bank account. This also helps for, you know, putting your rent checks or to buy do your deposits or anything like that, utilities. It's not overly difficult. They do require some paperwork, but it definitely makes your life a lot easier in the long run to have that. So those are kind of like key parts. And then having a reliable real estate agent, obviously.
Can you walk us through the legal process of buying a home as a foreigner? Are there any surprises that people should prepare for? I know you mentioned the language barrier, but is there anything else that people should look out for?
I mean, a foreign EU citizen has the same rights as a Greek, essentially. I mean, maybe you can speak more about that, but they're kind of more free. As a non-EU resident, it does get a bit more difficult. That's where seeking your advice is going to be huge. Other than that, I mean, it's just having the right people on your side. I can't tell you how many clients have been ripped off by a lawyer or a notary or somebody that says they're going to do something and they don't. It's happened to me multiple times. It's happened to a lot of my clients. So, you know, it's just not getting stuck into the rat race of, I don't want you to get ripped off. Chloe doesn't want you to get ripped off. So having those proper supports in place are huge. You do need to obviously make sure you have the right agents in place. Once you've found a place, you know, I do my due diligence as much as possible, but then you got to incorporate a lawyer, one that you trust, preferably in that specific area. They're going to check all the deeds to make sure that the people own it that are actually selling it are selling it. They're going to make sure that there's no money owed on the property. There's no encumbrances. There's no open court cases, to check that the land registry has no issues. They're going to do the due diligence to make sure that everything is what they say it's going to be. Another problem is engineering reports. A lot of houses in Greece have been built without proper permits. This is a big means for delay in the Greek real estate market. So that's when you're going to incorporate the engineer, make sure that the reports actually stipulate what they are. Otherwise, you're looking at a delay, months to years. So making sure that, you know, you have us to check, making sure that you have the lawyer and engineers to check, and then everything's good from there. You can do an express letter of interest. So this is saying that, like, so long as when the notary goes in that they don't find other issues, that this property is essentially mine. You're going to do this through an escrow. So it's usually 10% deposit that would be put with Keller Williams For You if you're working with my office. So it's a third party. They're going to hold that deposit or escrow. from there, the notary is going to do further checks. But it just secures that that property is essentially yours. So that's a big key point. You don't want to be putting money into lawyers and engineers if they're going to change their mind. So it essentially just protects you. And then the notary is the most important person. They're the one that does the contracts. They do, they are huge. Notaries in Greece are probably the top person in securing that end all circle of things. So again, making sure that person's in the area, that they're familiar with the product is also really key. Those are like the main things to kind of make sure you have the proper people, the real estate agent, the lawyers, the engineers, the notaries. Those are key in order to avoid any hiccups or delays as much as possible.
So having that into account, let's say the legal checks and the contracts, how long does the average purchase process take from start to finish? Maybe you can give an example of the quickest, purchase you've seen to the longest.
It's 1 to 3 months, but realistically it's more 2 to 4 to maybe more. But it all depends on, I mean, if you've done those checks, I mean, we try to eliminate any delays. So, I mean, things do come up. That's life. This is Greece. But we try to do our due diligence to make it go as smooth as possible. So I would say a typical one is about 3 months to be on the safe side. I mean, if it's really clean, you can get it done within, 1 to 2. But from what I've seen, it's a little rare.
Understood. And what type of properties are most popular among expats? Would you say villas, apartments, fixer-uppers?
Honestly, it varies. The big push right now is retirees. A lot of retirees are wanting to move to Greece. Some of the key areas is the Peloponnese, which I'm happy about. We take care of the whole Peloponnese between the two offices. And Crete. Crete is another big one on a lot of people's lists. And the retirees, they want something kind of simple, low maintenance. They're okay with apartments, but if it was a small place, they want quiet. They don't want to be in the main cities. They want something where they can tend to their garden, easily go to the sea, go for a nice walk. It's really calm. Whereas before it was all about Athens and the big cities, but I've seen like a shift now. People want to get away from the rat race in the big city and come to a place where you get to enjoy life. You know what I mean? I think COVID gave us all a little bit of a shake where it was like, what am I doing? What's more important? So that's kind of what I've been seeing. A lot of, smaller housing, a lot of retirees or digital nomads. The digital nomads are more on the rental aspect of things, long-term rentals. But mostly apartments for the digital nomads. They don't need as much space. They just want, good internet, accessibility to, amenities and stuff. But that's kind of what's going on from what I see.
For sure. And you mentioned the Peloponnese. Are there any other regions or islands that are currently attracting the most interest among them, and why?